Hello YouTube! Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting in a Fan, and yes, I have lighting over here, I have lighting over here, and I have the fan over here. How you doing? Right now the time is approximately 12:42 a.m. Eastern Time, and since it is after midnight, it is technically Wednesday, December 1st, 2021. Sometimes, if it's, for me, personally, if it's after midnight, it's the following day. But sometimes I'll wait until sunrise. Then it's like officially the following day. So I wanted to do a quick little video showing you some of the books that I'm currently reading. Now, for I don't remember how long, I have found that reading different books works for me. I used to read different books based on the planetary energies of the days of the week. I don't do that as much, but I will say that sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. So, and yes, in case you're wondering, there will be lots of close-ups. Lots and lots of close-ups. I'm letting Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person from my YouTube videos, know this. So, because I'm talking about books, I will happily begin with a book called Bibliophile, an illustrated miscellany by Jane Mount. Now, I discovered this book in August of 2020 when I went on my Philadelphia vacation. This is a book that I happily began reading. I think I began reading it during my vacation. I have savored it for too long, because I'm still reading it, even though it is now technically December 2021. So now I've made a point of reading at least 10 pages every day, because at this point it's like, okay, I can say, I know I love books, I love the term bibliophile, but, you know, and what I love about this book, and I will mention the store where I purchased it. I don't remember the name offhand, but I don't want to bastardize it. So what I love about this book is that it really is written for bibliophiles. So there is a section called Kids Picture Books. There is a section called Beloved Bookstores, Bookstore Cats. How many of us have been to a bodega where there's a cat? You know the bodega is run by that cat, owned by that cat. But yes, some bookstores have cats as well. And I was in another section, I was very happy to discover that Mark Twain had a black cat named Bambino, which is the Italian word for baby boy, like little baby boy. Formative faves, girl stars, bookish people recommend, which is another section that is repeated throughout the book. I know that some of you love the works of the Bronte, of Jane Austen and the Bronte sisters, and there is a section called Editions, which features the different covers of the editions of Pride and Prejudice. And I'm going to have, especially in honor of one of my favorite people on planet Earth, Michelle Swan Graham, who is known as Swan of Dreamers on YouTube, I will have my awesome audiovisual person do a quick close-up of both pages that depict the various covers of Pride and Prejudice written by Jane Austen over the years. And I really enjoyed this section as well, because it was unique and it was fun, and this is certainly a beloved classic. So I love the fact that it also has beautiful contemporary covers. There's a section on historical fiction. There are a few quizzes, writers' rooms, which one of my favorite ones to read about was about James Baldwin, the author of, among others, Giovanni's Room, after which the bookstore formerly known as Giovanni's Room, and since I believe 2017 or 2018 is now known as Philly H. Thrifted Giovanni's Room. There's a section on mysteries, books made into great movies, fantasy, another bookish people recommend. One of my favorite genres of both literature and motion pictures and TV series, dystopia. There's a section called Techno Thrills and Cyberpunks, which of course includes an entry on Philip K. Dick. And I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of this beautiful illustration of Mr. Dick rather, Philip K. Dick. A lot of his motion pictures, a lot of his stories have been turned into motion pictures. One of them, which I've seen both the original and the remake, is Total Recall. Yes! Short stories, poetry, and of course I'm going to have, for my fellow black cat lovers, I'm going to have Drake do a close-up of Bambino, which is Mark Twain's black cat, and look at how cute he is. And I also discovered that Charles Dickens had a raven named Grip, which, and I'm going to read the entry about Grip, because it is so appropriate given where I purchased this book. So Grip was the raven owned by Charles Dickens. Grip died in 1841, but he is preserved standing on a log inside a glass case in the rare books department of the Philadelphia Free Library. I did not know that. So believe me, the next time I go to Philadelphia, I'm going to go to the Philadelphia Free Library and I'm going to find out if I can actually take a look at Grip. He appeared as a character in Dickens' Barnaby Rudge and indirectly inspired Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. It's a really great book, and there are some sections I haven't even gotten to yet, like memoirs, books made into great TV, and of course, the two top books are A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin and The Handmaid's Tale, written by Margaret Atwood. And of course, I devoured Game of Thrones. And I happily devour every new episode of The Handmaid's Tale. By the way, season 5 is coming soon. If you haven't subscribed to Hulu yet, you know what to do. Books on design, etc., etc., etc. I spent a lot more time on that book than I had planned, but you can tell I really dig the book. So, I'm currently reading a book that has been voted as one of the best books of 2021. It is called Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. And of course, I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos, also known as Drake, do a close-up of the cover. I apologize for the different stickers. I bought it used. This book is hilarious. This book is hilarious. And I actually watched a video which I found on Bing, because I use Bing search engines quite a bit, actually. I watched a video featuring all of the characters, and Jessie Q. Sutanto portrayed all 4 of the aunties. Hysterical. The video is hysterical. I'm currently at the tail end of chapter 11 in part 1. The book is fantastic. For the record, I did not vote for it for one of the best books of 2021 because I'm still reading it. And, you know, when it comes to books, I don't usually read something that was published in the same year that I begin reading it. It happens that I was just chatting with somebody on an app for gay men, and his profile pic depicted the book, and I was like, I'm curious about that book. The book is fantastic. The aunties, by the way, are Chinese and Indonesian. They could have easily been black, or Latina, because really, I'm reading about these aunties and their dialogue. I'm like, honey, they could have been black women, they could have been Latinas, because really, their craziness is up there. I am reading, among others, Louise L. The Letters to Louise. The Answers Are Within You by the late and great Louise L. Hay. This is the updated edition. Now, some of you, especially those of you who have participated in my Divine Prosperity events and my Divine Love Healing events, may recall that I often transcribed the treatment at the beginning of both the Prosperity chapters, the Prosperity chapter and the Romantic Relationships chapter in this book, because those treatments were so beautiful. In fact, I'm going to read a portion I'm going to read the first part of the prosperity treatment because it remains one of the most beautiful and powerful treatments, which I've defined as a multi-sentence affirmation on prosperity. I allow my income to constantly expand, no matter what the newspapers and economists say. I allow my income to constantly expand, no matter what the newspapers and economists say. Every time I would give this out as a holy handout for my Divine Prosperity events, I would always tell the participants, even if you read that first sentence every day, no matter what, you will begin to manifest massive money miracles in your life. Just the one sentence, never mind anything else. And I also love the second sentence, which reads, I move beyond my present income and I go beyond the economic forecasts. And I'm going to say that again. I move beyond my present income and I go beyond the economic forecasts. With regards to the chapter on romantic relationships, I love the first sentence. Relationships are wonderful and marriages are wonderful, but they are all temporary because there comes a time when they end. The one person I am with forever is me. My relationship with me is eternal. I love this treatment so much. But this is the first time that I've read the book from that I'm reading the book from cover to cover. And I'm currently on at the beginning of chapter 10, Fears and Phobias, which, given how germ-phobic I've become in the last 2 years, I could really benefit from that chapter. And of course, since I'm always reading a book written by Dr. Catherine Ponder, I'm currently rereading for the first time actually, The Healing Secrets of the Ages. I've only read this book once before, which is so odd because there are only a small number of books written by Catherine Ponder that I've only read once before. But The Healing Secrets of the Ages I'm currently reading for the second time ever. I fairly recently finished rereading the companion book, which is The Dynamic Laws of Healing. And I have been guided and led to reread one of her prosperity books. And I'm going back and forth between rereading Open Your Mind to Receive or Open Your Mind to Prosperity. Although I have a feeling it's probably going to be Open Your Mind to Receive, but I definitely want to buy the revised copy, which I haven't done yet. And of course, I am currently reading a book that I've had for years. In fact, I actually had to buy a new copy because my original copy was, well, let's just say that one of the cats did something to it and it did it more than once and it was really nasty. So I found a used copy and it is originally titled A Goddess is a Girl's Best Friend by Reverend Laurie Brockway. The book was revised. Actually, it was originally published by, and where is it? It was originally published by Penguin Putnam, but the book was revised and it was retitled The Goddess Pages, and it was published by Llewellyn. Actually, I went to Llewellyn's website first to look for the book and I didn't find it. So it's possibly sold out as The Goddess Pages. But if I find a copy, believe me, I will see. I'll make sure that it's reasonably priced, meaning like it's not $500 or more, or $100 or more, and then, whatever. But I really love the book. I haven't spent too much time on the book. In fact, I'm currently at part 2, Goddesses of Self. But I do look forward to spending more time with this book. And then, of course, for my fellow gay men, I am currently reading A Harlem Boys Saga, Book 2, Unbridled, a memoir by Young. I practically devoured Book 1, Initiation, during my most recent Sacred Solitude period, and I love the way this man writes. I love what he's written. I also love the fact that it's not solely focused on sex. It is about his adventures, his education, his romantic relationships, his relationships with his family, his career in fashion and design. I'm currently at chapter 3, Love Letters from the Heart, which is in part 1. And I'm still in the savoring stage, but at some point I have a feeling that I'll be spending more time reading this book. Because I've currently exceeded my Goodreads 2021 reading challenge by 2 books. And I have a feeling that I will finish at least one more book prior to the conclusion of 2021. So, yeah. Anyway. And I'm also reading a book entitled Love Between Men, Seductive Stories of Afternoon Pleasures, edited by Shane Allison. And I love the cover. The cover is very sensual. It's very erotic. It's also tasteful. You know, and of course I'm going to have Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person from my YouTube videos, do a close-up of the cover. I happily purchased this book at, well, now it's called Philly 8th Thrift at Giovanni's Room, but it was originally titled, originally called Giovanni's Room, again, named after the novel by James Baldwin. And I happily included a bookmark that I purchased when it was called Giovanni's Room. And of course I'm going to have Drake do a close-up of the bookmark. I almost never use these bookmarks anymore. I only use them when I'm at home because if they fall out when I'm out and about, I may not find them. I may not remember where they went. But I love that it's the Tao symbol, which is commonly called the yin-yang symbol, and it has the rainbow colors in the Tao. I love this so much. So those are just some of the books that I'm currently reading. I find it very natural for me to read several books at the same time. But I will say, if you want to give me a really juicy gift and a really fun gift, I strongly recommend iClips. And of course I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person from my YouTube videos do a close-up of this iClips design. I call this a Tree of Life design. It comes in different colors. And I love that on the back it has an arrow. Now sometimes I've done it where I will have the arrow facing where I left off exactly on the page, but I usually have it at the top and it opens up and it's magnetic. So I love these. And you know, they have several different designs. I love this design. I have the black cat design. I have the cat paw print design. I have the butterfly design. I have the unicorn design. I have the Tree of Life design. I have the Chinese kanji symbols design. I have the Celtic knot designs. So, and I have 3 sets of the Chinese kanji symbols design, and I have 2 sets of the black cat designs, and I have 2 sets of the cat paw print design. So giving me one that is a design that I already have is not going to be a problem for me at all. Especially since I can use them for other books like my calendar planners and what have you. In case you're wondering, what can I possibly give this bitch? Now you have an idea. Oh, iClips is spelled I-C as in Charles, L-I-P as in Paul, S as in Sam. iClips. They're really cool. They're really fun. They're very functional. They're very convenient. I've used them in my calendar planners. I've used them in all the books that I'm reading. I use them for a lot of things, and it makes my life easier, less stressful, more convenient, and I can go on and on and on, but I have one more video that I want to record. So in the meantime, thank you to all of these wonderful authors for all of these amazing books. Thank you to all of the wonderful bookstores where I purchased them, both in person and online. Of course, I want to thank Philly 8th Thrift at Giovanni's Room because they are one of a small number of LGBTQIA+ bookstores in the United States of America. Please, please, please remember to support your independent booksellers. I will not deny that sometimes I buy books from websites like Amazon.com. I happily have a Barnes & Noble Booksellers discount membership, which I love, which I need to renew very soon now that I think about it. But I will happily tell you that I absolutely love and adore having my books. And of course, I also want to thank discountbooks.com, thriftbooks.com, because I found some amazing bargains at those book websites. And of course, thank you to all of you in YouTube land for all the likes, for all the comments, for all the shares, especially on social media platforms that I no longer use, like Facebook, and social media platforms that for whatever reason or reasons I've never used, like Reddit, and of course subscriptions to my YouTube channel. And an extra big and massive and juicy thank you to all of you who have scheduled your sessions, and to those of you who have bought me a coffee. Good night, have a wonderful week, have an amazing weekend, and stay tuned for the next video.